This is 1 lakh rupees, and if you could spend this much money on anything you wanted, no strings attached, what would you do? There's a lot of things you can do with this kind of money. But what about these people? Having no financial security or even a proper career, is it possible for them to spend that much money? Tens of thousands of underprivileged youth and young adults still remain uneducated or unemployed because of not having enough money to continue studying. Being underskilled, most of them even give up on their dreams of having a high-paying job, so they end up remaining jobless or doing any minimum wage work which they don't really like, but they have to just to survive. But Bangalore is a tier 1 city. It is rich in culture with modern infrastructure and is one of the places for lakhs of people to come within India and get premium education or land high-paying jobs in many of the companies over here. So how can the youth from poor communities ever dream of landing a good paying job for themselves, having no skills or proper training? This is Cherian, a man who started a venture to create futures for the children, youth and women by not only educating them but also training them with the right skill set so that they too could take up any skilled job tomorrow, just like the urban youth, or even become self-employed to quickly start earning more money right away.
Many of the youngsters, they pass engineering or degree, but the type of work that they do perhaps is not meaningful. They're doing the job because they need a job. The intention is to ensure that they get the right job and build a career. That was the reasoning behind that.
But the major concern Jimmy saw was many underprivileged students who went to college either dropped out due to lack of funds or had various social pressures of their own family to follow. Because they were unskilled, there were hardly any good jobs available for them that they wanted to do in urban areas.
ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಸಾರ ನಡೆಸೋದು ತುಂಬಾ ಕಷ್ಟ ಇದೆ. ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಫೀಸ್ಗಳು ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕು. ಒಬ್ಬರೇ ದುಡಿಯೋದು ತುಂಬಾನೇ ಕಷ್ಟ ಈಗಿನ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ.
And the majority of them knew to speak in only their local language, and chances are that they would be rejected in most city jobs where English is a prerequisite.
ಇವಾಗ ಅವ್ರು ಸೇರಿಸ್ಕೊಂತಾರ, ಕೆಲಸ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರ, ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು. ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿ, ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದ್ರೇನು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅದು ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವ್ ಏನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡೋದು ಕೆಲಸನ?
Another crucial problem they face is the lack of complete education given to the young women.
From the family itself, they have a lot of challenges like insecurity. So they're very not confident. Actually, when they're coming, they're not confident. They're feeling very insecure about a small step they're taking also. Because parents are not from much education background. So the support from the family is also very less. That can be a major addition to their insecurity feel. So when they're stepping outside the family and they're trying to know something new, lot of fear they have.
And Jimmy says that almost 80% of them are young women who are only allowed to study up until their 10th or 12th standard, after which she is asked to get married, have a child, and only then can she start working.
Multiple reasons for that. One is money. Second is they don't get admissions. The priority is to ensure that they are within the norms of the society. Either my husband have to agree to it if I'm married, or my parents have to agree to it. The distinction between a job and a career is never made.
Looking at this situation and wanting to do something to help the youth,
Jimmy and his team decided to build various centers having a variety of programs so that it would not only make them aware of the opportunities that are there for them, but also train them on what they chose to do and become. By the end of it, they could have a purpose and a meaningful career.
and here's just a few of their main programs that they teach to upskill their students.
ನಾವು ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಇಂದ ಕಲ್ಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಈ ಮಿಷಿನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಕೂರ್ಬೇಕು, ಪೆಡಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ದಾಗ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ.
एम्ब्रॉयडिंग, हेमिंग, कटिंग करना, मेजरमेंट लेना, बाद में क्लॉथ में लेते हैं. जिसके पास पैसे नहीं है वो कुछ भी स्टिच करके कमा सकता है.
So all of them, they say that alternately they'll have to give it to a tailor to stitch the blouse or a salwar kameez or a school uniform. Therefore, a blouse is about 600 rupees. Now we stitch for ourselves, our family, and therefore save. So it's one income and then savings. We are the digital world, and without computers it's extremely difficult for them to do anything. The intention is, can we give them the opportunity for them to explore the various aspects of computers?
ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್,
ಫೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರೀನೇಮ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ನೋಟ್ ಪ್ಯಾಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಟೈಪಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. MS ವರ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟೇಬಲ್ಸ್ ನ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಎಕ್ಸೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಲಮ್ಸ್ ನ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಮೈಕ್ರೋಸಾಫ್ಟ್ ಪವರ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಸಹ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡೋದು,
how to use the internet, how to create a mail.
ಟೆಂಪ್ಲೇಟ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಮಾಡೋದ್ರ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಜಾಬ್ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟೀಸ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಡಾಟಾ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಅವ್ರ ಜಾಬ್ಗೆ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಶೋರೂಮ್ ಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ಸಹ ಅವ್ರು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. 20,000 ಅವ್ರು 50K ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಅರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
By giving this training, they're much more employable and they're much more confident that I can handle the task. In Beautician, we teach multiple things: the hairstyles, bridal, makeups, facials,
ಥ್ರೆಡ್ಡಿಂಗ್, ಪೆಡಿಕ್ಯೂರ್, ಮೆನಿಕ್ಯೂರ್. ಅದೇ ಒಂದು ಪಾರ್ಲರ್ ಇಟ್ಟರೆ ಏನೇನು ಬರುತ್ತೋ ಅವ್ರು ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ. ಒಂದು 6,000 7,000 ಬರ್ಬೋದು ಮನೇಲಿ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ. ಬ್ರೈಡಲ್ ಮೇಕಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಚೆನು 1 lakh ಆ ತರ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ ಒಂದು ಮೇಕಪ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ. ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಇವರು 15,000 20,000 ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಒಂದು ಮೇಕಪ್ಗೆ.
ಆರಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಾವು ಶುಗರ್ ಬೀಡು, ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಬೀಡು, ಸ್ಟೋನ್ಸ್ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮಾಡೋ ವರ್ಕ್ ಇದು.
The work that goes into the blouse or the salwar kameez, and I believe that this is a high paying field, especially when there is a function, and this is totally handmade.
ಇದುವರೆಗೂ ಎಲ್ಲ ಜೆಂಟ್ಸೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಇವಾಗಲೇ ಲೇಡೀಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
Depending on the amount of work, the embroidery and the stones, you can get as high as 5,000 per fabric. So it's 5,000 is a pretty good, for one fabric.
Spoken English, we have a 3 trainings level. The beginner level will teach about words and framing a sentence. And intermediate level will make them to read and write. And in advanced level, we'll give a conversation talk about any topic.
Most of our audience, they can't speak English. They may have gone to an English medium school, but the ability to speak English is limited. So our purpose is simple: for you to be much more employable and much more confident. And we're seeing that the ability to speak in English will help you to get a job better.
Women's counseling is to promote their awareness. The community over here, they're more familiar with their home. I want to show them who they are and then what they are capable of doing. In the future, it should not be like they're the hurdle here.
It always starts with who am I? What are my qualities? Where do I need to go? How do I overcome barriers? Why am I special? And through our programs, they discover themselves, they build their confidence, build their self-esteem. They have a sense of purpose. That is, I can move forward. I can overcome the barriers that are there.
We welcome to the talent and show and certificate distribution ceremony.
Apart from these skills, they also have a ton of other programs to improve and upskill their students at their centers.
Getting the youth skilled like this is amazing. But how would they get the courage to face interviews for jobs or start on their own? So Jimmy and his team decided that once the students get trained and qualified by their mentors, they then offer them career counseling
to make them aware of the various fields that are actually there for them.
10th ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅಥವಾ PU ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಏನು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕು ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಇಂಟ್ರಡಕ್ಷನ್ ನಾವು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ.
Our aim is simple, is to show them the path as to where they want to go. Tell them what are the jobs available for a particular job, what are the qualifications that are required,
and career guidance so that they'll be absolutely ready to face interviews and not just get a good job but make it into a full-fledged career.
So first let the child know their positive things, and then slowly we are taking them for the next step of choosing the courses. Then we will give a lot of awareness on courses availability. Practically we will ask them to choose a course what they wanted to do after 10th, after 12th. We will explain if they take this particular subject where they are going to end up, and based on that learning what type of job they can apply for. So job is not just a job, it can change their lifestyle and their life as well.
All our training programs, we have an unwritten rule that no PowerPoints. So everything is through activity based, experiential. If you want to be, let's take a tally operator, then you sit in front of the machine and you work on it. You talk about what is a trial balance and what is a balance sheet, and you use that in tally. If you're teaching how to be good at writing resumes, you actually write resumes. So we don't do theory, we make them do it, and by doing they learn. And whether it's tailoring, beautician, all of our training programs is by doing.
At the moment, Jimmy says almost all the learners that come over here are first generation learners.
So first generation students are those whose parents are not completed the education. Why they are not done it is lack of finance, employment and survival was a bigger reason for them. Because they are first generation learners, there's a lot of drive in the parents to get these children educated. That's the positive.
And for those learners who plan to self-employ or work on their own, this is what they do.
We have a program where we help them in micro loans. Intention is that they have an idea, but they do not have the capital to start it. For example, earlier we talked about Aari. The capital that is required is very small, probably 5,000 to 10,000. First is to give skills. Second is to give them the confidence that you can do it. Third is to infuse a little bit of capital. And then fourth, to monitor that they are able to do well and they return the money. And if they return the money, then we know that they're doing good for themselves.
And here are a few examples of learners who are now fully skilled, and this is what they had to say about their future.
I was here knowing nothing. I came here and I learned from basic to the additional, and now I can stitch my own dresses, blouse, pants, everything. I can stitch it for clients also. I can stitch it, and it's very useful for my future.
I'm thinking to do like self-employed, to start a own business in home, like mehendi designer, tailoring, beautician.
I started from here. When I started helping my ma'am, I made it separately, taking tuitions for other students for my payment and my situation.
Before I thought I cannot become a CA. After sirs and ma'am guidance, I thought I can become a CA through many ways.
I will also contribute to the development of rural areas.
I had a plan to run a NGO in Oskote. I coordinated like one school bell camp in Oskote. I'm getting each and every skills. What are the programs they are doing. So I'm getting each and every information from teachers. The main thing is that we shouldn't say no for anything.
With this boost in confidence and skill, they certainly have a strong belief that any of these youngsters can go on to have successful careers and build bright futures for themselves.
We want to go to the rural areas. There's a huge amount of migration happening from rural to urban. We have children studying in the rural areas or small towns, and they have to compete with urban children. If these skills can go there, perhaps they'll be much more better equipped and much more employable.
So if you guys also want to become heroes, well, you can. There's a link down below in the description which you can click and help contribute what you can to Jimmy and his foundation in order to create more bright futures tomorrow. But if you don't want to do that, then at least use your fingers and click that like and subscribe button. You watching these videos helps them and motivates me to cover more such awesome and inspiring stories for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Bye.